And good morning, the live stream of the Eric Zane Show podcast, brought to you. Let's start it off with Zaniac Laura, Stella Fly Laura. Okay, what the hell is Stella Fly? She detailed recently the story about how the name came to be, and it goes back like 60 years or something like that. It's definitely not that long. She's like, I'm not that old, idiot. Stella Fly wants to make sure that your business has the right things in place to be able to market yourselves via social media. And she does all of that. So basically, you just reach out to her, and then she's like, yeah, okay, I see you got Facebook. But there's just so much more that you can do, okay? You should probably be advertising on the Eric Zane Show podcast. She might say that. I have no idea. But you see, you have all those things in place that are like, they don't really cost you anything, like Facebook and other social media and things like that. But you're not using them. She teaches you. She does that for you. That's what happens at Stella Fly. Log on to stellafly.com for more information. That's S as in Sam, TELLA Fly. stellafly.com. Okay. Growing stuff indoors in Michigan, it seems like everybody wants to. It's completely legal here to grow your own cannabis. And if you want to do it right, you call upon the experts from Horizon Hydroponics. They have the knowledge, the wisdom, and all of the products for you. HORIZEN hydroponics.com or 4 brick and mortar locations. Okay. If you just want to go and see the stuff for yourself on Alpine in Grand Rapids, where I will be tomorrow for a Growers 101 session at around 3 p.m. I'm not inviting you. You can go if you want. I'm just letting you know that I'll be on Facebook Live with them, with John from Horizon Hydroponics. They're also in Byron Center, Michigan. That is known as the Growers Outlet. They have a store in Lansing. They have a store in Kalamazoo. And if you buy anything online, $250 and more, the shipping is free. And use the coupon code ZaneShow at checkout and save 10%. HorizonHydroponics.com. It is the 2nd of November, 2020. The Eric Zane Show podcast begins now.
Zaniacs. Here's a man who's usually wrong, but he doesn't care. Here's a man who...
He didn't care. He didn't care.
You're now rocking with the best. It's the Eric Zane Show podcast. And here's your host, Eric Zane.
Thank you, Kevin. Smooth as silk as always. Oh my gosh, voice of an angel. He is a YouTube sensation. Oh, follow him at Zaniacs United, and I think he's got some other channel where he tries to talk sports. I don't know. Anyway, he probably can't hear this right now because he's sleeping, I don't think the guy wakes up till like noon every day. Okay, welcome in. We have a lot of ground to cover. Thank you so much for being here. It is, yesterday was just, oh my gosh. Here we sit in and around the house, and, Saturday was just spectacular. Not a cloud in the sky. It got a little bit windy, and that kind of ushered in some awfulness. But man, it was awesome. It was so great. And let me tell you, I've got something for you that one listener taught me that is going to save you a lot of time and energy. Because I'm in the backyard and I'm looking around, and there's just a shit ton of leaves everywhere. And I'm like, okay, I got to get after this. And somebody taught me this trick some time ago, and it's real easy. What you do is you either rake or blow all of the leaves out onto your lawn. I don't care how big the piles are. Okay, it does not matter. Get all of the leaves out of the flower beds, rake them or blow them out into there. Then you take your lawnmower and you have you put it so that you're not collecting them. You mulch them. Just go over them. Now, hopefully you have the ability to do a mulch setting on it. Sometimes those mowers have a plug where you can cover up that side chute. But a lot of mowers these days are like 2-in-1, 3-in-1, where it can bag or it can mulch. So what you do is you go over those damn things, and they're all little tiny bits at that point, the leaves, all right? Then, after all the leaves are made into tiny bits, you lower the blade one of the settings. So if it was on like number 4, you drop it down to number 3, okay? And then you go over what you made into little bits. It picks them right up. They're gone. And then you bag them. Then you don't mulch them. Then you bag them and just throw them away. And they take up so much less space. You won't believe it. What was basically, if you just go over them and bag them like in one fell swoop, it doesn't work because the shit is like the leaves are still big. They haven't been completely chewed up, you know? So holy shit. Then you've got 8,000 bags in front of your house, those stupid brown bags, an army of them. My God, looks like a friggin' Trump rally. And you reduce the amount of bags you're using. It's so much less work, and you don't have to rake and put them into piles and pick them up. It's just, oh God. And yeah, if you do that, oh, you're a real chump. If you rake up piles and then just stuff them in the bags, basically one armful fills up the bag. Oh, come on. Do it right. Do it. Someone taught me, and do it that way. So, all right, there's that going on. And then I have mountains and mountains of timber. I cut down several trees this year, and I've just been throwing them in the backyard there. And it looks so white trash. I mean, it's a real shit show back there. And I go, I got to get rid of some of this shit. So I start a fire. And I got this fire pit way in the back, and I started burning shit. My neighbor's like, oh, fuck, there he goes again. He's going to burn down the neighborhood. And there was a couple times, and I almost did. I didn't even think that there's leaves all the way around that fire pit, and then the fucking embers would land on the leaves, and they start to burn. So I'm like, oh, God, thank God I didn't leave this fire here. All right, no big deal. Burnt so much stuff. And then it was a great day Saturday. It was awesome. I wake up Sunday, and it's snowing like a son of a bitch. Holy crap. Now, if you're in Michigan, you're like, that's just the way it goes. But some of you places that don't get nearly as much snow as we get here in Michigan, you're like, holy, really? That early? Well, yeah, it is. I guess this is the time that it could snow. We typically don't get a lot of snow this early, and we didn't really get a ton of snow, but it was just a punch right in the face because yesterday the wind was whipping up like 40-mile-an-hour gusts. So when you're outside, the wind chill factor was about 18 degrees yesterday, and I'm not lying. Can you believe that? It felt like 18 degrees out there. Now, the air temperature was like 31, 32, but it felt a hell of a lot colder than that. Oh, man, I am just not ready for this. Ooh, boy. Yeah, that was a harsh reminder that here we go. Nestle in, hunker down for the winter, man. I mean, it's absolutely horrible. We've got this shit show election happening. We've got winter is here. This horrible virus. It gets dark at like 2 p.m. now. I tell you what, this is prime depression time. That doesn't make sense. It is prime depression time. I guess it makes sense. Anyway, okay. So that's what's going on right now. I have a lot to get into today on the show, including one of the biggest losers I've ever encountered while driving limo, and I didn't even have to drive the limo. We'll get to that. I also met somebody who's pretty famous in the great state of Michigan, part of my limo adventures over the weekend. We had football over the weekend, and a lot of fighting in football this weekend. And, of course, my Lions, I'll give you my take on them. Michigan State, we got to talk about that. Football announcer and former All-Pro wide receiver Chris Collinsworth is a loser again. This is nothing new, and I think I'm really interested in how this cycles through every few years. This has been talked about at least more than once. Probably at least once. I only remember talking about this once. He has an old video that has surfaced again. And I remember talking about it on the radio the first time. But the only thing that's changed is how emotionally charged people are to something like this. And they're so used to getting what they want when they try to cancel someone. That's the only thing that's changed here. All aboard the Trump intimidation train. Oh, did you see Texas? Did you see that armada of pickup trucks with flags surrounding the bus? We got to talk about that. A dad wins Halloween. All right, I'll talk about that. And I'm fighting the war on vocal fry. Vocal fry, what is that? I've heard it, Zane. I don't know what it is. I'll detail all of what that is if you don't know, and I'll talk about how it's affecting my life here in the Eric Zane Show podcast household. Election week. This is it. Today is the day where, it's kind of like come to a head. Holy crap. I will be so glad when this is over. It is every time you turn around, there is a nonstop barrage of ads on television. And, I turn on TV, and it's the same as it was 4 years ago. Polls. Trump is trailing Hillary Clinton. You remember that. And this year, it's the same thing. Trump trails Biden. Now, I don't know what the amount was that Trump trailed Clinton 4 years ago. But it was enough that I didn't think that guy had a chance in hell to win at all. And then, well, we all know what happened. So now it's like the networks, mainstream news, like I was watching the Today Show. Chuck Todd is going on and on and on about how Trump is trailing in the polls. And the one thing I'm curious about is, you see, when the election was won 4 years ago, it was all of those faraway places. I describe them as the shit kicker towns that just were dominated. 9 out of 10 people would vote for Trump in those towns. And you know exactly what I'm talking about. The shit kickers, the Borculos, the Doors, the Kaukaskas, the Cedar Springs, all of these little towns and places in Michigan and other different spots of the country came out in droves and said, fuck that, man. We're gonna vote for Trump. Now, when it comes to polling, I don't know. I wish I had some idea of the mechanism of polling, where all those calls were made. It said, and all I've been able to glean on one of them was that about 50% of the calls that were made were on cell phones that were actually spoken to people. Well, okay, that's great. And then I guess that would mean 50% landlines. All right. But what I'm curious about is, if you're going to call, let's say in the state of Michigan, I want to know where you're calling. Because if you're calling to Metro Detroit, East Grand Rapids, Ada, yes, you are going to get the majority of people are going to say Biden. But I need to know more about the sampling before I would ever believe any polls, because of what happened 4 years ago. So I don't, it kind of just goes in one ear and out the other. I will, it might be another gigantic night where all of a sudden it's like, okay, he's going to win again. And I think there is a little bit of trepidation in my brain, because it's been fed to me by the media that it could get off the rails if Trump wins or if Biden wins. That's something really, really strange could happen. And it's starting to manifest in the grocery aisles, because people are hoarding shit again. I witnessed this myself when I was walking down the aisles of my neighborhood grocery store. People are like, well, just in case, we're buying bullets, we're buying soup, toilet paper, we're getting all this shit together. So here you go. Did you see the video from Texas? It as the campaigns are almost over, there's a Biden bus driving down the interstate in Texas. Now, All you see is this armada of shit kicker pickup trucks with their Trump flags around the bus, and it says in the clip that I watched, Trump train escorts Biden bus out of town. Now, when I see that, my first thought is, holy fuck, they're everywhere. It's I thought it was quite a spectacular sight. I didn't think anything of it. I didn't think anything more than it's just they're driving alongside of it saying, hey, we're here. And then that's it. Now, as the day went on, though, and Trump actually tweeted out, I love Texas. Now, if that's me, if I'm running for president and I'm Donald Trump and they've got Eric Zane flags and they're surrounding the Joe Biden bus, I am so stoked. I think that's awesome. I would, and as we get closer to the election, there's been a lot of these Trump trains everywhere, and they're always the same thing. They're always old pickup trucks with dudes with their baseball hats on with the brim bent a little too far. They just get out of work. They probably got a 40 in their lap with their Trump flag behind them, driving their pickup truck, and they're ready to go. If that's me, if I see that, I am proud as shit. I'm tweeting the same thing that says, I love Texas. I would love that. I would be so happy. But as the story unfolded and it's made national news, and I haven't seen this. Now, maybe there is video that exists, but I haven't seen it. But people there's a story going around that the Armada or the Trump train, all the pickup trucks, slowed the bus down and, quote, tried to run it off the road. And the people that were on the bus called 911, all the campaigners, because Biden wasn't on the bus, all the campaigners that were on it, the workers, employees for Biden's campaign, called the cops. They're like, holy shit, all these rednecks are surrounding us. Oh, my God. Now, I didn't see any footage of the bus getting slowed down or stopped. So I take that with a huge grain of salt. I'm not saying it didn't happen, but pictures or it didn't happen. I would need to see that. But anyway, they felt all concerned about it. Here we sit. Trump in Grand Rapids all the way up. I don't know, was he just in Grand Rapids or he's going to be? I think the last stop on Trump's campaign, which ends tonight, is here in Grand Rapids. Right here in our little old town, Donald Trump will be here leading up to the actual election day, Tuesday. And that I think that is what he did last year. The same exact thing. It went all the way, or was it on election day itself? I'm not sure. But Trump Michigan is a big, big state for him. You've got all these states that are kind of up for grabs. Michigan, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, Florida. All of these states are very, very big. Ohio, perhaps. Georgia, perhaps, a state that Trump won handily last time. And we shall see. I honestly, I'm very, very excited to see how it plays out. I would be disappointed if we didn't find out the day of the election who the winner is. But there's been a lot of talk about how that won't be the case. And I don't know if that has to do with the sheer number of votes that came in early that they're counting or what. But I saw one map that that it could result in a tie, 259 electoral votes between the two, with Pennsylvania still being counted. And if it goes that way, Chuck Todd from NBC News says you'll have a massive lawsuit on people's hands if the election day comes and goes with a tie and Pennsylvania still up for grabs. Then you will see fireworks. My gosh. Hang on, folks. Keep your heads about you. Keep your feet out of the aisle, as they say, as Sean from Raleigh would say. So here we go. It is election week here in the U.S. Tomorrow is the day. Okay, here at the Eric Zane Show podcast household, we have a dynamic that we've talked about many times with Diana, me, Madison. We're virtually empty nesters, but we, of course, brought in Diana's brother to the household. And There's been a learning curve. I'm not going to lie. When it comes to getting used to, just some of the nuances that make Kevin, as I'm sure he's getting used to us, known as No Filter Kevin. I swear to God, there was a conversation the other day. It was Diana and him went out to get Halloween candy, and Diana wanted a certain type of candy, and she went to a bunch of stores, and Kevin got frustrated, so he comes in the house, and he's talking about how long it took, and he said so many swear words that I couldn't even tell what he was saying, because when he swears or when he gets agitated, his voice gets really high. So to me, it sounds like, motherfucking damn, son of a bitch, damn, motherfucking damn, my Starburst, damn, motherfucking damn, Reese's Pieces, motherfucking damn, her Hershey's Kisses, motherfucking damn. And he's talking to me in that high Southern voice of his, Southern accent. And I go, hold up, take a breath. All I hear is swear words. And then, so then I finally got the truth out of him that she had to go to 5 stores to get the candy that she wanted. Okay, now, we encounter this all the time. It's the mess that he leaves behind. He'll go to the ice maker on the fridge with a cup and fill the cup up with ice, and some little bits of ice fall on the tray below it, which is going to melt, and I have to clean it up. Then he takes the cup and he wants to pour the ice into a water bottle that has a smaller opening. He can't put the water bottle up to the ice maker because it's too narrow of an opening. So then he pours the cup, tips the cup, and puts his hand so that the ice falls into the cup or to the water bottle. Problem, though, a lot of ice winds up on the countertop. So now I got ice on the fridge catch there and on the countertop. And then, he never finishes the job and picks up the ice. Now, his fingers aren't like yours and mine. The dexterity is not there. So I'm afraid to say something because he might not be able to. I don't know. I'm struggling with, can he actually do this? Get the remaining ice and scoop it into his hand and put it in the sink or throw it away or what? So I'm like, shit. Okay, great. So there's that. And also, if you tell him, it might go in one ear and out the other because his brain doesn't work like yours and mine. Okay, so I think what it boils down to here is patience. I think patience is the key here, and just let it slide. I think because if you tell him and then it doesn't happen, you might be under the impression that he's just doing it because he doesn't care or he's slighting you, but that's not the case. But I have to keep reminding myself of this. Okay. Now I haven't told him, hey, Kevin, clean up your ice. So I'm kind of like almost manufacturing a problem that isn't even there. A little, but I'm too. Diana and I are too freaking freaked out to say anything. So then there's this, Madison. What do you want to eat for lunch? Peanut butter and jelly. I get the jelly. I get the peanut butter, and it looks. Now remember, I told you that constantly his hands have like food on them, and then he grabs a refrigerator door, so there's shit all over the refrigerator all the time. Anything he touches, there's like a smorgasbord of food on everything he touches. Son of a bitch. The peanut butter. This is why I said we have our own peanut butter falcon. It's like he takes one scoop of peanut butter, puts it on the bread, another scoop, puts it on his hand, one on the bread, one on the hand. So he's like putting peanut butter on his hand, and then he grabs the lid of the peanut butter, and then when he's done, he puts it back on and then puts it back. There's so much peanut butter on the lid. You got to pick it up like, barely. You have to be careful where you put your hands because you're going to get peanut butter all over your hands. There's so much peanut butter on the outside of and then the lid has those grooves in the side of it so that you can actually get a grip to open the jar. And there's so much peanut butter just smashed. It's like impossible to clean out, man. It's like the grooves of your Converse All-Star when you step in dog shit. That's what it's like. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? Shit. So now when if my man eats peanut butter and jelly, and then you're the next person to get to the jar of peanut butter, you basically pick it up, go to the sink, turn on the hot water, and get that green scrubby thing, and scrub the outside of the container to be able to, and then you got to dry it, and then you can then make your peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Oh man. And so, a lot of times if you tell him, he's going to forget. Again, brain's not like yours and mine. And I have to keep reminding myself this. So it's not like you just got to tell him. If I did, I think that it might just result in nothing happening and the awkwardness of telling him. I don't know. I gotta process it. It's gonna be okay. It's not the end of the world. Don't make a big deal about it. Just relax. Okay? No big deal. There you go. That is the open of the Eric Zane Show podcast. A reminder, we have a event coming up November 25th for paintball. Zane, I thought you're staying away from everybody. I am. Believe me, I'm walking in, and I'll be from the corner of the room waving at you while you eat your B&C pizza. Our next paintball event is Paintball War number 11, the Kidney Offensive. It happens on Wednesday, November 25th at noon. This is a second and third shifter special the day before Thanksgiving. This is the last thing I'll be doing for a little while before and then, of course, the kidney transplant, the kidney donation happens on December 2nd. So we'll say goodbye to my kidney at TC Paintball. I want you to reach out to me, Eric at ericzaneshow.com. I have right now one person. Jason Mays is the only guy who reached out and said, I'm coming to paintball. I will be there. It's going to set you back $35. You get the paint, you get the gun, you get the mask. You can buy it. You can rent any extras or whatever you want at TC Paintball before we get started. Free pizza party ahead of time from BC Pizza. That's right, BC and TC. BCPizzaGR.com. Thank you to the BC Pizza on Lake Michigan Drive in Grand Rapids for giving us the free pizza for this event. Again, November 25th, send me an email, okay, right now. Please drop what you're doing and send me an email, Eric at ericzaneshow.com, and we'll be off and running. I've got a fitness facility, F45 Training in Byron Center, Michigan. How about these guys, man? A great group of people. Mark and Charmaine, brother-sister team, put this place on the map for the growing community of Byron Center, Michigan, right where the family fair is. Go visit them and work out in a group setting with a personal feel. They're at 50% capacity right now. That place is spotless and clean. Okay, F45training.com/Byron Center is their website, and you can work out for free for the first week just to see how it is, and definitely take advantage of that, man. You click right where it says free trial, fill out a little bit of information, and then show up, okay? And then at the end of that, you're like, no, not for me. Screw it, you're out, no big deal. But you're going to love it. You will love the setting there. The staff there is great at F45 Byron Center. 45 stands for 45 minutes. That's how long it's going to take you. You work out workouts all day long on the hour at F45training.com/Byron Center. Okay. And then, of course, the Kent County Health Department with 4 COVID testing stations in and around the Grand Rapids area. Thank you to the Kent County Health Department for doing their part. I know they are just, seriously, what a year for them. For everybody. Kent County Health Department, their website is accesskent.com/health. Okay. Vaccinations for the kids. You can get that for little or no cost, whatever it may be. And of course, your flu shot. Don't forget about your flu shot. My show comes to you each and every morning at around 8 a.m. We got a little bit late today. 8:02, not bad. I think it still counts for an on-time start, at least in my mind. Facebook, live every morning, facebook.com/Eric Zane fan page. That's brought to you by Irvine's. That's where we're live. Twitter is a Blue Frost IT thing, live, Periscope video for you. And then, of course, YouTube, the almighty YouTube, brought to you by F45. Just search Eric Zane Show on YouTube. All right, a little football over the weekend. Tell me that you didn't see this coming. Your Detroit Lions, damn it. They are hosting over the weekend the Indianapolis Colts. Lions go into this 3-3. Indianapolis, pretty good, not great, but better than the Lions. And they've got this 100-year-old quarterback named Phillip Rivers, who's just a beast. He's always been a beast, just can't really win the big one or anything like that. He's kind of like he'll get you so far, and then it'll get screwed up. By the way, Phillip Rivers, 9 kids. This guy has 9 kids, okay? And he moved from San Diego to Indy, and he brought them all with him. Oh, my God. What an undertaking that must have been, Mike, just to get the kids there alone. You have 9 kids, you and your wife, so 11 of you. You basically have to drive one of those damn passenger vans everywhere you go. You're like the freaking Duggars. Holy shit. So they end up beating the Lions, pretty much beat the hell out of them all game long. Lions weren't really in this one the whole game. And, Indianapolis, the Lions proved, even though they were 3-3, and they beat some shitty teams the 2 previous weeks. And in the most recent week, it was just kind of like a fluky thing that they won anyway. The Lions are one of the better shitty teams in the league. I've said this many times. And being that they're now 3-4 on the year, they're only 1 win away from what I predicted they would win this year. So this is a great year for them. They're they're not even halfway through the season, and all they need to do is get 1 more win to hit my expectation. Yeah, they still suck. Let's be honest here. It's still a garbage football team. Probably no chance that Matt Patricia is going to remain on as coach, but what the hell. Then you got Michigan State over the weekend. How about this? I don't even know the guy's name. The first-year head coach for Michigan State loses his first game to Rutgers, who actually isn't that terrible of a team. But in that first game, Michigan State turned the ball over 7 times. So there you go. But against Michigan, man, they talked about how Michigan State exposed the cornerbacks on the Michigan defense. And just that was a game, man. They ended up getting the win and beating Jim Harbaugh. I mean, seriously, Michigan fan, when are you sick of Jim fucking Harbaugh? That guy sucks shit. He's sucked shit since he got here. And here you are, this first-year head coach comes into your house in a rivalry game and beats the shit out of you. Oh, my God. If you're a Michigan fan, you're fucking sick of this guy. I mean, seriously, how much longer... What else has to happen before you're just done with Jim Harbaugh? Let's look to the end of the year when they play Ohio State, and when they get beaten 50-0 again and get their ass kicked. Is that what it'll take? Because in my opinion, Jim Harbaugh blows. And if I had to choose between Michigan and Michigan State, I would say I'm a Michigan fan over Michigan State, but I don't really have any allegiance to either one of those teams. I just remember that the first college football team I ever watched was Michigan. And so, I didn't give a shit about Michigan State when I was growing up, so that kind of remains true to this day. But Michigan sucks, and I blame Jim fucking Harbaugh. That guy blows. Football brawls over the weekend. This was the story with Florida against Missouri. Did you catch this?
Florida needs to get out of here. They got a big game next week against Georgia, and I think that's what Dan Mullen was trying to do, is prevent any one of his players.
Dan Mullen is the coach of Florida, and what happened was the Florida quarterback was threw a pass, and then some defender took 3 steps and hit him and knocked him down, and hit him in the head and knocked him down. And the next thing you know, there's this war on the field. Now, a lot of people are saying that the coach of Florida, Mullen, was the one who ran out to start the fight. Now, I don't know if that's true or not, but so you have both teams now are on the field. Full squads are on the field. And you've got Missouri guys who are punching at Florida guys. And Missouri guy is throwing punches. Problem, one of his coaches is right in front of him. So his own coach is in front of him. And he's trying to punch the Florida guy, but hitting his own coach in the back of the head. It was so terrible and stupid. Football fights are the dumbest. They're the worst. Talk about a waste of energy. There is no chance unless the only way to effectively win a fight in a football fight is to, grab the face mask and twist the guy's head until his neck breaks. Because why are you hitting a helmet with your hand? You're just going to break your hand. It's like punching a rock. Who the fuck would do that? And I don't understand it. I mean, in hockey, if two guys are going to fight, they're like, all right, let's fight. And they drop their helmets. They actually take their helmets off. I mean, in football, they would never even dream of this. So this whole thing was so stupid. I always laugh when I see these stupid football
doing
fights.
something stupid. This is getting ugly. This punch is being thrown.
Yeah, that's getting beyond ugly. That's another one thrown.
You got to take your finger and poke a guy in the eye, which is what happened in the Bears game, actually.
Carter in there for Florida.
Oh,
this
goodness.
is getting bad. I mean, there's going to be some severe ejections. This is
pause it. Severe ejections. Well, what does that even mean? You mean severe punishments? Is that what you're trying to say? Because severe ejections, how is that any different than a regular ejection? A regular ejection is so-and-so's been disqualified. He can't play anymore. Is a severe ejection, so-and-so's been disqualified. He can't play, and his mother's a fucking whore. Is that what you're telling me?
absolutely the last thing that Dan Mullen wanted for his ball club going into the cocktail party next week.
Mullen loves this. This guy, this is right at the end of the half. The fight gets broken up. Mullen is walking into the tunnel for his halftime. The teams take a break. He comes back out of the tunnel, and there's 1,000 fans there in Florida. And he's pumping them up, come on, make some noise. So he goes in, and then he realizes, hey, I better go out and have a big show of force or something like that. It was so stupid. Really, really dumb.
They are having a whole lot of problems trying to break this up. And something happened after that play that incited
quarterback hit.
Dan Mullen and the Gator squad.
And then Mullen comes out after the game and has the press conference, and it's Halloween night. He's dressed up as Darth Vader. I mean, he even had a lightsaber. He had the whole Vader costume on. I don't know. Whatever. All right. Then in the pro game, the Bears game, the combatants in the Bears New Orleans game, it was C.J. Gardner-Johnson and Javon Wims. C.J. Gardner-Johnson of New Orleans, he, I think in the previous play, he took his finger and poked Wims or someone in the face, okay? Like they were face to face, and then he took his finger and went doink. The next play, Javon Wims is lined up not with Gardner, not with C.J. Gardner-Johnson, and they run the play, and then the play ends, and this Wims goes up to Gardner-Johnson and hits him right in the face with kind of like a punch hand deal, and the only thing it does is move the guy, because again he hits him in the head. And Gardner-Johnson just looks at him like, what are you doing? And then he hits him again, Wims, and then all hell breaks out, and Wims comes out of the pile, and he's fired up. I mean, he is so stoked at what he did. He's jumping around like an idiot, clapping, yeah, look what I did. They threw his ass out. He couldn't play anymore. And then the frickin' Saints end up winning the game in overtime over the Bears. Holy shit. So a lot going on in football over the weekend. Hey, don't forget I do cameos, cameo.com/Eric Zane. You can find me there. Hire me. It's been way too long since I did one, for God's sake. Cameo.com/Eric Zane. We're going to get to the Chris Collinsworth thing in a second. Man, this guy, what an absolute disaster. But it's old. I mean, we've talked about this before. A&E Heating and Cooling. I screwed this up over the weekend. Actually, Friday, they were supposed, I even talked about it. I said, they're coming over this weekend to work on the furnace. What did I do? I went in the backyard all day after the show. They were banging on the door. Let us in so we can tune up your furnace. And I didn't. So I screwed that up. Sorry, guys. A&E Heating and Cooling, 616-516-8579. If you call upon them, please be home when they actually schedule it, dumbass. AEheatingcooling.net, $79. Get you the furnace tune-up. And if you do go the route of a brand new install, whether it be a furnace or an air conditioner or both, you're going to save $450 because you're going to get a rebate from DTE. They love it when these new high-efficiency furnaces get installed. By the way, Joe said that he has finished installing the 2 furnaces for the giveaway that happened. Remember, we talked about that. Joe Martinez said, I'm doing that, and we have 2 Zane Show podcast listeners who have a brand-new furnace installed. I'm so happy. Well done. Thank you, Joe Martinez. Terrytown RV invites you to check out their website, terrytownrv.com. Okay? That's where they are online for campers, travel trailers, fifth wheels, motorhomes, whatever it may be. Check them out online. Go and see them in person. They have a beautiful indoor facility with over 200 units on display there. Go check out Terrytown RV. They're right on Division between 68th and 76th Street. Thank you to them. And finally, get yourself a bottle of wine from Great Lakes Winery, Brewery, Distillery on Lakewood Boulevard, East Lakewood Boulevard in Holland, across from the Windmill Estates Mobile Home Park. Sorry, I can't talk today. That's where you want to be. They're right across the street from there. Go on in, say hi to Jim and Joanne, and say, hey, I want a bottle of wine. I want a growler of beer, whatever it is, whatever's on tap. Maybe some grappa. Say, you know what you do? Say, give me a shot of the grappa. Yeah, I love that. Now I'll take a bottle. Great Lakes Winery, Brewery, Distillery on East Lakewood Boulevard in Holland, Michigan. Okay, so if you watch Sunday Night Football, last night Philly beat Dallas. And so, all right, they're in the driver's seat. The game is on with Al Michaels and Chris Collinsworth. Okay, so Chris Collinsworth has been doing this for years as the color commentator, really knowledgeable about the game, smart dude. I've always liked the guy. And he was a receiver for a number of years. I remember with the Cincinnati Bengals, he was an all-pro wide receiver. Guy was great. Okay, now years ago, when I was still on the radio, I remember when this surfaced. It was a video of Chris Collinsworth. I think he was being interviewed, okay? And it's early 80s. And it's this dopey, stupid video that he made where he's talking about nightlife as an NFL player and how chicks are always throwing it at him, young bachelor. And he made some comments that back then didn't raise any eyebrows. And I cannot believe that when he made these comments that it didn't raise any eyebrows because, well, I mean, pedophilia is pedophilia. Any way you look at it, it doesn't matter what era. Was it more acceptable to talk about 14-year-old girls in this light than now? I mean, I don't understand that. But years ago, this came up, this actual clip that I'm about to play for you. And he actually made a comment. I remember he said, I was a young, stupid idiot then, and I didn't even know any better. And boy, what a terrible thing I said there. I mean, he owned it. It was no big deal, really, in my opinion. The way he owned it, it kind of just went away. But what's interesting now is it has manifested again, years later, 10 years later or so. And everybody's reinvigorated with hate, but it's almost like the people who are watching it didn't see it the first time. I think because now it's so much easier to spread information quickly that it's happening all over again. And this is weird because it was diffused the first time. So are you required to diffuse it every time it comes up? Okay. Let's take a listen to this clip. This is Chris Collinsworth in probably 1981. And he's a terrible dancer. Takeaways from this when you watch it. A, he's a terrible dancer. B, the women, he's in there talking about hot chicks and chicks that like him, and they're showing images of young women at a bar, and their makeup, it looks like these women look like clowns. The way they put makeup on back then is really, really terrible. And then he talks about 14 to 18-year-old girls are the ones that he's into.
I think being a bachelor and playing football have a lot of similarities between them. You go out
Hold on a second. Being a bachelor and playing football have a lot of similarities. Give me one similarity, please. Give me an example of a similarity of being a bachelor and playing football, because I think you just made that up.
I think being a bachelor and playing football have a lot of similarities between them. You go out and there's not anything in the world any more competitive than going out and trying to find the girl. I like girls that aren't too bright because you can trick them a little bit. The punk rockers all love me. Those are my big girls. And
okay, I like girls that aren't too bright. The punk rockers. You said something about the punk rockers.
Right, because you can trick them a little bit. The punk rockers all love me.
Trick them?
Those are my big girls, and high school girls love me. 14 to 18, I'm a big star with them. As soon as they mature, after about 18 years old, they start figuring out that, wait a minute, I know there's better than that out there,
I like they're playing like I'm so excited in the background, all this 80s shit going on. Now, he didn't say, I want to stick my finger in a 14-year-old girl. He said, I'm a big hit with the 14 to 18-year-old girls. I'm going to listen to the whole thing again.
Being a bachelor and playing,
you know what he means.
Football have a lot of similarities between them. You go out and there's not anything in the world any more competitive than going out and trying to find the girl. I like girls that aren't too bright because you can trick them a little bit. The punk rockers all love me. Those are my big girls, and high school girls love me. 14 to 18, I'm a big star with them.
I'm a big star with them.
As soon as they mature, after about 18 years old, they start figuring out that, wait a minute, I know there's better than that out there,
Okay. Boy, it's weird because the cancel culture is going after this guy. They want him out now. And right now, you're just seeing some of these small-time websites are getting on board with it. Old footage surfaces of a young Chris Collinsworth talking about picking up girls. They write at TotalProSports.com, this is such a big yikes. During the Sunday Night Football game between the Cowboys and the Eagles, footage surfaced online of Chris Collinsworth when he was a member of the Bengals. And then basically the article just goes on to take various tweets from people talking about how this guy needs to be canceled. Blue State Rob is the one who pointed me in the direction of the story for today, and he wrote, cancel him. And I'm wondering if he means that. Hey, Siri, call Blue State Rob on speaker.
Calling Rob Blue State on speaker.
Siri. All right. And now, I don't know. Now, Rob typically, for sure, he's with me on the Patreon. But, hey.
Ha-ha, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, man. What's up? How you doing?
Doing.
Yeah. Hey, so here we are 1 day away from this election. What do you think? First of all, what do you think about Trump train and the bus?
It's actually pretty hilarious, if you ask me. I mean, you almost could. Why didn't I think of that kind of thing? Yeah, I mean, the FBI is looking into it. I don't know what for. I mean, it's just a brilliant troll job, if you ask me.
I thought it was awesome. I thought it was spectacular. And then they're talking about, oh yeah, but they were intimidating. They were trying to run the bus off the road. It's like, well, pictures or it didn't happen. Okay.
I mean, there was one truck that made contact with an SUV that apparently was a staffer's car, but I mean, I wouldn't call that running off the road. But
okay, yeah. How do you see this going? Honestly, do you think Biden is going to win, or do you think this is another repeat? Because remember, last 4 years ago, I mean, Clinton was ahead in the polls all the way up until the final hour.
Yeah, I remember it being something like, a couple of weeks ago, I saw something where it was like, oh, Clinton's lead was 3, Biden's is 8 or 6 or some other number like that. And I'm like, okay, that might be right in the popular vote, but the popular vote means almost nothing in this electoral college system. So flip a coin, really. I mean, that's how close it is. I think it has to be. I just don't see why why they're all in these states multiple times a day. I mean, everybody's in Michigan, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, North Carolina, etc.
Okay, now you send me this article about Chris Collinsworth. Did you even know that this had happened before? This exact thing happened about 10 years ago.
No, No, I had no idea.
Isn't that crazy?
As you were talking about it, I'm like, well, you can't really judge, stuff from back in history as you can't judge what people did back in the day by today's standards. I mean, people tried to cancel George Washington today. I mean, of course he'd be canceled today. Fuck. You can't have slaves today, but back in the day it was perfectly legal. I mean, it was accepted and pretty common. So
now,
as you were describing it, that's what I was thinking about.
Well,
because I had no idea.
Because this was like a when they put that camera in front of him back in 1980, whatever, like 81, and I mean that was like a feel good story about him, and everybody who saw it back then was like, oh yes, that's of course he wants to stick his dick in a 14-year-old. That's what we do.
Yeah. Precisely. Pedophilia is acceptable in 1981 or whatever.
Yeah, it's really
now the Catholic Church even looks down.
I know it. It's a miracle I didn't get raped at that age, honestly, because I think I had a nice butt, and I don't think it's remarkable because let's go have sex with Eric's butthole.
Well, even the schmeckle touching at the summer camp wasn't enough for you?
Yeah, that was. God, were you actually listening to the radio when that actually happened? When I first revealed that?
I remember hearing it, and I remember the realization. You were like, "Oh my God, was I molested?" Like, "Oh my God!" Like,
yeah.
Like I guess Greg and Chris were looking at you like
they were.
Yeah, dude, you were molested.
Yeah, that was really strange. I remember when I it's kind of like when you say something and you realize what you're saying, then you go, wait a minute, and then I went, wait, there was that I was that, and that was kind of like that big eureka aha moment.
Like, damn, I could have made some money off that asshole.
Right. Yes. I remember telling the story to my mom, and she took me to our priest, strangely enough, to tell him. We didn't tell the cops.
Yeah, was he jealous?
I never heard another word. So that was it.
Okay, maybe he was a good priest.
I think he was. I think he actually was one of the good ones. So
yeah, because I have relatives that were listed in some lawsuit somewhere in Pennsylvania, but my aunt has a story. I won't even get into details. He was into girls, and so yeah, he was like Chris Collinsworth, maybe. I don't know.
All right, yeah. Well,
so
Jesus, yeah. I can't.
It's so common that it's like you just shrug at it now.
It seems like that. Wow. Yeah, I thought it was interesting that this story has made the round. In fact, Collinsworth actually responded to it some time ago. It was like, oh my God, yeah, I was a dumb idiot. I was a knucklehead. He actually responded to it. But I like the way you're thinking, Rob. It makes sense.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I had no idea he'd even responded to it. So that's why I'm like, oh, he touches kids. Eric, he's got to know about this.
Well, I think what's more interesting is how news comes back around, and to all these people that are posting about it, this is like the first time that they've ever been exposed to it. So basically it's going to keep happening, I guess. I think as more and more time passes, and there's such quickness that the word can travel, and people love to be able to drop something that seems lascivious on someone. It's bound to keep actually happening that way.
Yeah, it probably will. I mean, there's stuff will come back around to haunt people eventually. I mean, I can't think of one off the top of my head, but there's athletes that were, I guess, going to be in college or about to become pros, and they're bringing up tweets back from when they were 14.
Yeah, that's weird.
No, it's like, dude, they're going to be they're going to do stupid things. They're not going to have the mind of a grown adult.
Now, listen, it's kind of like I'm out of both sides of my mouth here, because if you go back to recent history, I was talking about how we need to rip down statues, but I'm starting to think that might not be appropriate because of the reasons that I just talked about now. Like the example being about George Washington, what you just said. I mean, what if, how like Disney just put that disclaimer in front of their movies that have all the racist shit, and what if there's simply just there's I mean, if you have a statue of Robert E. Lee, wouldn't it make sense to see, though Robert E. Lee was fighting to keep slavery alive and well in the South, this is still part of our history? I don't know. I mean, I'm struggling with this.
Well, here's the other part of it, and I don't think people realize it's like everything's got to be black and white. You have good guys versus black guys, or good guys versus. Did I just say that?
Yeah, you
I
did.
Just had a
You said
misspeak.
good guys versus. You sounded like Biden.
Guys. Yeah, I just pulled a Biden. Good guys versus bad guys. Just ruined my whole vibe.
That's all right.
Good guys versus bad guys, and so you have both things can be right. I mean, you could say, is it a good idea to have a statue? Yeah, because he was a good guy at West Point. He was an American general for a while, and then he, decided he wanted to secede. And so is he such a bad guy for standing up for what he believed in? I mean, it could be both.
Yeah, I think if you take the context of back then and throw it into today, that's where it gets to be tricky. And I think that when you give into that, you then open up that I'm now on board with that whole slippery slope thing that Patriot Nick talked about many, many times. They're trying to tear down a Abraham Lincoln statue in Madison, Wisconsin right now. And people are saying, well, yeah, she was a big racist. And Joe Biden himself said that Trump was one of our most racist, or that Abraham Lincoln was one of our most racist presidents. So, yeah. I don't and I don't know. I don't know if he was a racist. I have no idea. I just know that there was a different way of living and a different way of thinking, that if you take the way people thought back then and throw it into today's standards, of course it's going to look terrible.
Yeah, dude, I've even heard rumors that they thought that there's rumors out there that Abe Lincoln was gay. And I'm like, wait, what? And apparently some guy he knew or was really good friends with died, and he was real depressed and he wouldn't get out of bed. And I'm like, oh boy, here we go again. Some bullshit story or even if there's truth to it, like, okay, tear down the statue. Like at least that's what Amy Coney Barrett would do. I don't know.
Oh, yeah, there it is.
So I don't fucking know. I mean,
all right,
just leave the guy alone. Are we going to start banning $5 bills now because of Abe Lincoln?
There you go. I
mean, who the fuck cares? It's a piece of paper. You give it to somebody to get your Starbucks or your whatever the fuck you want. It's just leave it the fuck alone. There's bigger fish to fry.
I completely forgot about the $5 bill thing. You're right. We're gonna have to burn our money. Give me the fives. All right, Rob.
Yeah,
I appreciate you, buddy. Have a good. I probably won't talk to you for a little while, but enjoy your voting day. Or did you vote early?
I dropped my ballot in a box a long time ago. I think I did it the day after that shit show debate. And
yeah. Okay, very good. I appreciate the time. Okay.
Yeah, buddy, you bet. Love you.
All right, buddy. Love you too. There you go. Blues and Rob joining us on the show with some perspective. He's the one who sent along that Chris Collinsworth thing. I don't know. This one will probably just fade away. No big deal. But if it does get legs on Chris Collinsworth and he ends up getting in big trouble, man, fuck that. What a bunch of bullshit. Hey, man, we had a great time. Ben and I had the most fun we've had doing the Ben and Eric Patreon podcast. That's the title of the show, by the way. The Ben and Eric Patreon podcast. I like the way it sounds, and it's fun. The show, oh boy. I see this show being a lot like it was the most recent one every time. We just had a ball talking. We pulled the curtain back quite a bit on radio for a good portion of it, and I posted the free view of it wherever you download podcasts. All you have to do is search for my podcast, and it's there. Just look for it. You can't miss it. And then if you're on Patreon, you get the whole thing in its entirety, uninterrupted, the video and the audio. There you go. Sign up for me on Patreon, patreon.com/Eric Zane. Also today, the Lost Zane recordings drop from WBBL. At this stage of the time in 2016, April of 2016, I was doing the show with Julius. We were a few days removed from the Kyle disaster, which ended after 6 days. And then Julius and I were trying to do the show, making our way. A few people have said, Zane, you sit there and bitch about it that it sucked, but we actually think it sounds pretty damn good. And I'm like, all right. So I've been thinking about listening to little bits and pieces of it here and there. And what I've heard, I've been like, all right, I guess. But man, it takes a lot of strength for me to listen to those old shows. I don't know why. I just cringe at my own voice. Terrible. Irvine's Auto Repair, Grand Rapids Hybrid. How about you? 616-532-6600. Love those folks over at Irvine's Auto Repair, Grand Rapids Hybrid. If you are in West Michigan, you have a team that wants to fix your car, domestic, Asian, or European. They do it all. And, of course, hybrids, the best in the business at hybrids. All the dealerships reach out to Irvine's when things get a little too messy for them. They're like, oh, we better call the pros over at Irvine's. Irvines.com for more information. Check out their Google reviews. One of my latest sponsors is Forever Lawn West Michigan. Synthetic grass, commercial, residential, putting green. Let's say you're some rich bastard who wants to set up his own bocce ball in the backyard. You need this. If you have, own a doggy daycare, they can set up your synthetic grass as well. Foreverlawn.com/WMI. Foreverlawn.com/WMI. A lot of, this is the type of thing where you're like, well, seriously, I would install like this grass onto the front of my house. Like I don't have grass anymore. Yes, that's exactly what people are doing. It's absolutely perfect. Take a look at what they have to offer at foreverlawn.com/WMI. Let's say you're redoing everything on the outside of your house. Wouldn't it be nice to have absolutely pristine, perfect synthetic lawn instead of grass that you have to mow all the damn time, and there's ant colonies building shit there, and it's like, oh fuck, this is terrible. And then the female dog pisses on it and makes a big dead spot right there, and you got to fix that. Forget it. Foreverlawn.com/WMI. You will love them. Okay. How did Halloween go for you? In the neighborhood here, we had you had Diana going the extra mile, and you heard her on the show last week. 2 big buckets, okay? In one bucket, you had like smaller fun size, and then in the big bucket, full-size candy bars. And so, before the kids start making their rounds, I walk by the bucket and I see a full-size Twix. And I go, well, I'm taking that. It's got my name on it. And you know how the wrapper on the outside of it makes that crinkly noise? Well, her radar, she hears it from like way across the house when I went in and took the Twix. And then I hear, I'm like, uh-oh. And I hear her stomping around the corner, a little 110-pound frame. I'm like, uh-oh, here she comes. Here comes the queen of the forest. And sure enough, she sees me as I rip it open and stuffed it into my mouth. She's like, son of a bitch, what are you doing? Those are not for you. And I'm like, yeah, I know, but come on, give me a break. So the neighborhoods come, or the neighborhood kids come, do their thing. We got visited by the grandkids. Jim and Aubrey brought the grandkids over. That was awesome. And off we go. It was a little weird with the whole COVID thing. A lot of people, they just put the thing on the front porch there, and kids just go in and take it. But it all worked out. I think everybody was happy. But this guy in particular, oh man, some dude in Rochester, New York. I would hate to live next to this guy. He decided he was going to build a pirate ship in the front of his house to make his kids happy. First of all, what dad has the resources, both in money and time, to do this? Okay? This dude in Rochester, New York, built a 50-foot-long, 20-foot-tall pirate ship. It looks like a prop from the movie Pirates of the Caribbean. It's absolutely massive. He's got like the whole house is decked out, and he's got like flames shooting out of the top of it, and he actually hired actors to give away candy. It's like this rich fuck. Holy shit. But the thing is, I'm looking at the house. It isn't that big of a neighborhood. It looks like a normal house to me. But you can't even see the house because this dude has won Halloween with this gigantic pirate ship. He said, Tony DeMatteo says, I have no background in this. I just do it for fun for the kids. And that's what makes it so great. It's like, who has time? I mean, I don't even have time to rake the leaves. And this asshole has so much time on his hands. He's building a pirate ship. He's either has, all this time on his hands, or he's like way organized. Either way, I hate him. Son of a bitch. It's been a rough year for a lot of people, so we decided this would be a perfect chance to put a smile on people's face and give them a sense of normalcy. I'm really impressed with this. The father of 3 said he was motivated to build a pirate ship by his kids, whose faces light up with excitement whenever they see Halloween decorations. Oh, my God. A few years back, his 13-year-old daughter asked for a Pirates of the Caribbean-themed Halloween. I would respond with no. Hold on a second. I don't know why my phone just rang. I've got it on Do Not Disturb. Weird. Okay. Made from recycled metal, wood, and rope, the vessel is complete with black pirate flags and a huge skeleton hanging from it. It's also outfitted with some impressive effects, 6 cannons that light up, a fog machine, and the fire blasters. Mateo said he also produced a soundtrack that synchronizes with the effects of the cannons and the fire blasters. Come on, man, you're killing us. Oh, yeah, the whole thing only cost about $300, or $3,000. $3,000, Jesus. It might look expensive, but I bought everything secondhand and made a lot of the props myself. It's been gathering crowds, and everyone just loves it. When people come by, they get so excited. It's fun to see how much people enjoy it. I'm actually glad that he pulled it off without, like, the homeowners association saying that he had to, like, rip it down. You know how it always is, those asshole homeowners associations. Oh, yeah, you're breaking the code. He says the purpose was to bring joy to the family and his community. There's also a good cause. This is where it actually gets pretty good. How about this? He asks that people who stop by to bring canned goods or another food donation that he provides to people in need in the community. So far, his garage is completely packed with food donations. How about that? But the fun's not over yet. On Halloween, 2 professional pirate actors came out and gave candy out to the kids. So good for that guy. Now, hopefully he isn't one of these guys who, like, leaves his Christmas lights up till, like, the summertime. Because if that's the case, that damn thing's going to be up there forever. Good on that guy, I guess. Something I could never do. I can't imagine having that much time. Holy crap. All right. Two more things I want to get to, including a new addition to the Muppety Flippity Bone Break of the Year award. We have a new edition. I'm just going to tell you in advance, it's not going to overtake the backyard wrestler Justin, which I have an update about him as well. But something that you're going to want to see, and I'll describe it for you coming up in just a second. Okay, Blue Frost IT. As I said, they bring you the Eric Zane Show podcast, Twitter, the Periscope video, bluefrostit.com. 616-200-8550. For small or medium-sized businesses, reach out to them, and they will be your IT support in and around West Michigan. They're awesome. And what you do is you call upon them, and then you say, all right, I have 2 computers that need servicing for my business once a month. You sign this contract, you're good to go, and now you have this insurance policy of your tech team with you. Yes, you can't afford a tech team, but now you can afford it through Blue Frost IT. All right? Reach out to them, 616-200-8550. And, of course, the Mario Flores Lakeshore team of Van Dyke Mortgage, NMLS number 3035. Mario wants you to call on him for your mortgage. It's a great time to get a mortgage. 231-332-6505. All right. I've been fighting a war in this household for quite some time, and it's crept into my life. Back when I was on the radio on BBL, Ben and I used to do the Ben and Bethany podcast, where we would listen to Ben's show with that chick Bethany, and it was then that I was introduced to the term vocal fry, and I didn't even know what it was at first. I just knew it sounded weird, but that there is a name for it. There's a couple of different registers that we speak in. men and women. But if you drop down a level to the what's called fry, your vocal cords slam shut, and then the air that gets through causes a weird vibration. That's fry. An example of fry is this. This is speaking in fry. Then you're real low, and you hear the creak, croak. That's what you're doing. And chicks get blamed for it the most, but guys actually do it more, and it's usually young people. If you're speaking in that low register, that's what you're doing, because when you talk, air goes through and moves the vocal cords, okay? And when you're moving the appropriate amount of air, you speak like I'm speaking to you right now in this register. But if you were to relax, those vocal cords slam shut, and then you just push a little bit of air through, and then you have the fry. You don't want that. You sound like an asshole. And it is the Kardashians that I believe started doing this. They started speaking in fry. People started to think that they sound more intelligent, more astute, more wealthy. They don't. They sound like shit, okay? And Bethany was the, she's the freaking queen of this. And my gosh, it made my skin crawl when that chick would talk. So I do my part when someone's frying to let them know. I take it back. I don't let anybody know. The only person I let know is people that are close to me, like my daughter, Madison, who's 18. And from time to time, she's going to drop down into fry. And now what I've learned over the years as a parent is when you tell kids something that are your kids, if parents tell the kids, they don't listen to you. You have to, someone else in their life has to tell them. But I would be a bad parent if I didn't let her know that vocal fry, it sounds like shit, and she's going to be judged. Okay, if she's applying for a job, there's a damn good chance that if you've got her and someone else and they have the same qualifications and Madison's doing vocal fry, she's not going to get the job. So fuck that. I said to her, go, look, honey, this is what's happening. I play her one of countless videos online about what actually is happening on vocal fry and how ridiculous it is. And it goes in one ear and out the other, because as soon as she lets her guard down, she starts creaking. And when it happens, I say, you're frying. Stop frying. And she gets so pissed at me. Dad, I know. It's just because I was yelling yesterday. I go, well, you're yelling at me now and you're not vocal frying. That's because you're putting air through. You're intentionally trying to talk like that. Stop. And man, she gets so pissed at me. No matter, even if I tell her the way I tell you that I'm telling her right now, you could understand why she's getting pissed at me. But there have been times when I've said to her, I go, honey, look. And I very calmly, politely explained to her that it sounds like shit. And she, oh my God, I have such a hard time getting that message through to her. So in my own little corner of the world, and hopefully I'll be able to impress upon you too, don't let your kids fry. Okay? It's a bad deal. It's probably my biggest pet peeve right now. Say no to vocal fry. My God. Okay, what's going on here? First of all, I have an update of backyard wrestler Justin. And as you know, he's a dude that broke both of his legs, and I kind of got on board with helping with talking to his sister after she put that GoFundMe out. And I'm supposed to find out whether or not dude's going to lose his leg. So Saturday I reached out. How's your brother? He's definitely improving. This sounds terrible. Banana out the window. They removed dead muscle yesterday and inserted a tube to drain the liquids. He also had to keep the rods in a bit longer. You remember, both of his legs broke in half. We are all hopeful he'll be out of the hospital by next weekend. Thanks for checking in. I hope all is well. So she didn't mention the amputation. I wrote, that poor man. And she said, yeah, he's in good spirits, though, cracking jokes and just bits of sadness with not getting visitors. And my apologies for not saying it sooner, but thank you for the donation. I said, my pleasure. This is all going to work out. So I guess he's doing okay. I didn't have the heart to say, is he going to lose his leg? I'll just keep checking in with him. I hope to get that guy on the air or on the podcast before too long as he recovers. And still, I haven't lost the thought of the idea of us when the year ends, him winning the award for the Muppety Flippity Leg Break of the Year, which, you got to do a customized trophy. So I'm working on that. I think it was Patriot Nick who said you got to have like springs where the legs are, or like a spring connecting the lower leg on the trophy figurine to the upper leg for the trophy. I wouldn't have it any other way. Making a hard push, though, is this one from early October, which Zaniac Kenneth in Florida sent my way, and I'll link up for you. And this is this one looks like it could be the most severe, but it's only one, and it's only an ankle. Justin, both of his legs breaking in half and flipping around like a couple of windsock was seriously the hard and fast number one. I don't think this skateboard break is going to do anything in terms of upending Justin, but this is our second skateboard ankle break in the last month, and I think this one is worse than that fat ass black kid who wiped out and broke his ankle and screamed like, "Don't touch it!" This dude is going at a high rate of speed, and he hits the steps. The amount of steps it looks like to be. You ever see that movie Rocky when he's running up the steps at the art museum? It appears to be about that many steps that this guy is letting it go. So he gets to the top where he's going to, jump, and he's going to have the board still and land on the ground at the bottom of the steps. Problem, though, he misses, and his leg folds in such a way that I can't believe that it legit didn't fall off. It is such a disaster, and this is how it sounded. Okay, it was quick, but okay, you got to see it. Some of you may not want to. It's rough. It is, and they even do it in slow-mo. So, yeah, the amount of damage done, I would say it's a 2 or 3. We've had a real rush ever since the people started to get back out into the open as the pandemic has surged through. People have gone back outside, and the summertime and the fall months are bringing us lots of amazing Muppety Flippity bone breaks. So not bad there, not bad. Not the most severe we've had, but still, we suddenly have a lot of those to choose from. Okay, lickety split, short and sweet on a Monday. All right, Patreon bonus podcast, that comes in a little bit. I thank you for enjoying this one. Don't be a stranger. Leave a comment in any of the live streams. As always, I'll read those later on. Emails, I'll read those later on. Eric@ericzaneshow.com. Till next time, have a great one, folks. Bye-bye.